My child, listen closely. Because this moment was chosen for you. You are not here by accident. You are here because heaven placed this message in your hands. And Archangel Michael is standing by your side, waiting for you to finally see the truth. There is a snake in your family. They smiled at you. They called you by name. They pretended to love you. But behind your back, they betrayed you. Heaven has caught them. And in 15 seconds, their mask will fall. You must not ignore this. Because if you close this message now, the truth will vanish before your eyes. God says, do not delay. Do not scroll away. Stay until the very last word, because the secret will only be revealed to the faithful. My beloved child, the truth that has been hidden in the shadows is finally breaking into the light. For so long, you have felt the weight of betrayal without knowing its name. You trusted, you gave, you loved, and in return, someone close to you has secretly woven lies behind your back. They smiled in your face, but their heart carried venom. Archangel Michael has lifted the veil, and the serpent among you has been caught. The heavens cry out, do not ignore this moment. For if you turn away now, the secret will slip back into darkness, and you will be left wondering why blessings were blocked, why prayers seemed unanswered, and why your heart felt restless. This is not coincidence. This is revelation. The Lord says, my chosen one, stay still and listen. The betrayer wore a mask so carefully that even your spirit could not always see through it. They pretended to be your helper, but their hands held a blade meant for your back. They appeared as a friend, but in truth, they were the thief of your peace, the thief of your opportunities, the thief of your destiny. Archangel Michael has sounded the alarm, and the sword of heaven has been raised. The snake's time is up. You will watch as their plans collapse. You will see with your own eyes that the very trap they set for you becomes the snare that destroys them. My child, this is divine justice, and it begins the moment you open your heart to this word. And yet, do not fear. Because where betrayal tries to cut, God sends healing tenfold. Where deception tries to chain, God breaks open the prison doors. This moment, right now, is your final alert. Within the next days, watch carefully. Signs will come in threes. A strange conversation you were not meant to hear will suddenly reach your ears. A name will be revealed in a way you cannot deny. And finally, the betrayer themselves will stumble and reveal their own guilt without realizing what they are confessing. These three signs will prove that heaven is speaking to you. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. Before we continue, hear this deeply. If this message touches even the smallest part of your soul, make sure you stay connected. Do not let the enemy silence God's voice in your life. Subscribe now so that the next revelation does not pass you by. For what comes after this truth will unlock blessings so great, your family will whisper about the miracle for generations. My beloved, the reason this message has reached you now is because heaven does not want you blind any longer. For too long you have walked in circles, questioning why doors closed, why opportunities slipped through your hands, why certain people seem to turn against you without reason. What you did not know is that a hidden hand was moving behind those curtains. This hand belonged to the snake in your family, the one who pretended loyalty but carried secret jealousy in their heart. Archangel Michael has stepped forward to cut through the lies and expose the shadow. My child, this exposure is not to harm you, but to free you. The chains that tied you down were never yours to carry, they were planted by the betrayer who wished to slow your destiny. But the moment this truth touches your spirit, their power over you ends. Understand this: betrayal always comes dressed in disguise. Judas kissed Jesus on the cheek before selling him for silver. Delilah whispered love into Samson's ears before cutting his strength. In the same way, the one who betrayed you wore a smile while hiding their poison. They spoke softly but dreamed of your downfall. They gave small gifts but desired to rob you of your greatest treasure. Yet hear the command from heaven: what was hidden will now be shouted. What was buried will rise. The snake can no longer coil in silence. God says, my chosen, I will not allow the liar to prosper over you. Their schemes have expired. Their mask has fallen. From this day forward, you will see them for who they truly are. Do not be afraid when this exposure happens, because it may shock you. It may be someone you least expect, someone whose name you would never have guessed. That is why Michael himself had to come with this message. The human mind can be fooled, but heaven cannot. Watch closely, for soon their words will betray them. In their attempt to hide, they will reveal themselves. You may overhear a strange conversation, or a family secret may slip suddenly from someone's mouth. Do not dismiss it. This is the first sign. Then, their actions will grow restless, and they will make mistakes that point directly to their guilt. This is the second sign. Finally, when you stand in prayer, their name will echo in your spirit with a weight you cannot shake. That is the third sign, and when all three come, you will know heaven has confirmed the truth. My beloved child, the betrayer may have thought they destroyed you, but in truth they have only positioned you for a greater rise. Every tear you cried was seen. Every sleepless night was counted. And every loss you endured will now be restored in ways beyond your imagination. What they stole, heaven will return in double. What they tried to break, God will rebuild unshakable. And what they tried to curse, heaven will transform into blessing. This is why Michael speaks so urgently: do not turn away, do not scroll away, because the moment you abandon this word, the enemy gains a chance to steal again. But if you stay, if you receive, then the sword of Michael will cut the serpent's head once and for all, and your path will shine brighter than ever before. My beloved child, the betrayer may have thought they destroyed you, but in truth they have only positioned you for a greater rise. Every tear you cried was seen. Every sleepless night was counted. And every loss you endured will now be restored in ways beyond your imagination. What they stole, heaven will return in double. What they tried to break, God will rebuild unshakable. And what they try to curse, heaven will transform into blessing. This is why Michael speaks so urgently, do not turn away, do not scroll away, because the moment you abandon this word, the enemy gains a chance to steal again. But if you stay, if you receive, then the sword of Michael will cut the serpent's head once and for all, and your path will shine brighter than ever before. My child, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal will explain why your heart has carried so much heaviness. The betrayer in your family did not just act out of weakness, they acted out of envy. Envy is a dangerous seed, and when watered with lies, it becomes a poisonous vine that seeks to choke the destiny of the chosen. This person saw your light and could not bear it. They recognized the grace upon you, and instead of celebrating it, they tried to cover it with shadows. But what they did not understand is that a light ordained by heaven cannot be dimmed by human jealousy. Archangel Michael has been guarding that light, and now he comes with a sword to cut away every vine that tried to strangle your blessings. You may feel you have lost time, lost trust, or lost energy, but none of it is wasted. Every battle you faced has positioned you for a testimony that will silence the enemy. Do you feel that sudden stirring in your spirit as you read this? That is not imagination, it is confirmation. It is heaven pressing upon your soul the reality that this message is not random. God has interrupted your moment, placed this very word before your eyes, because your breakthrough is closer than you think. The betrayer will soon stumble publicly, and when they do, you will understand why delays haunted you, why relationships crumbled, and why certain prayers seemed unanswered. It was not because God ignored you, it was because someone in your circle was standing as a blockage, speaking words behind closed doors, poisoning wells that were meant to refresh you. But their time has expired. Their power is broken. From this day forward, what they tried to block will burst open, and what they tried to destroy will be rebuilt greater than before. Now hear this carefully, because Archangel Michael says you must be prepared. When the snake is exposed, there will be temptation to respond with anger, to fight in the flesh, to speak words of vengeance. But heaven calls you to a higher response. Do not lower yourself to their level, for the betrayer already condemned themselves. Instead, stand still and let the Lord fight. When you choose silence, heaven speaks louder. When you step back, Michael steps forward with the flaming sword. Do not waste energy proving yourself to those who doubted you. The exposure itself will be your vindication. The truth will defend you. And those who once believed the lies will see with their own eyes that you were never the problem, you were the target of envy, and now you are the vessel of glory. And child, remember this, after exposure always comes elevation. When Judas left the table, Jesus stepped into his greatest hour. When Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, it positioned him to become ruler in Egypt. In the same way, the snake in your family thought their betrayal would break you, but in reality, it has only cleared the stage for your rising. The Lord is saying, prepare your heart, because what comes next is not just survival, it is revival. You will step into blessings so abundant that even those who betrayed you will have to witness it. Their whispers will be drowned by your testimony. Their laughter will be silenced by your victory. And their jealousy will burn when they realize that nothing they did could stop the one who walks under heaven's protection. My beloved, the Spirit of God whispers that this betrayal was not simply personal, it was spiritual. The enemy used this person as a vessel to release discouragement into your life. That is why you often felt drained after being around them, why confusion would rise in your mind after hearing their words, and why your joy would sometimes vanish without reason. They carried a silent assignment against you, but their assignment is now terminated by heaven's decree. Archangel Michael has declared war on the forces that use their envy as a weapon, and his flaming sword has already begun cutting through the unseen cords that tied you down. What you thought were random disappointments were actually patterns created by this serpent's influence. But as of this moment, those patterns are broken. The cloud is lifting. And the light that was dimmed will shine brighter than before. You see, betrayal always tries to hide in normalcy. They sat at your table. They shared your laughter. They pretended to comfort you in your pain. Yet in their heart, they carried words of destruction. And still, God allowed it for a season. Why? Because sometimes the snake must reveal itself fully before it can be destroyed. Every whisper they made against you is now recorded in the courts of heaven. Every trap they laid will now ensnare their own feet. The very curse they spoke will return to their doorstep, and they will have no place to hide. Do not be surprised when their life begins to unravel before your eyes. This is not your doing, it is divine justice. God is saying, "Behold, I fight for you." And here is what you must hold tightly: the moment of exposure is also the moment of elevation. My beloved child, God never reveals a betrayer without preparing a throne for the betrayed. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, yet when the secret came out, it positioned him to rule. David was betrayed by Saul, yet the betrayal prepared the way for his kingship. Even Jesus was betrayed by Judas, and it opened the door to resurrection glory. In the same way, your betrayer has only paved the road to your rising. They thought their schemes would crush you, but heaven has turned their weapons into stepping stones. Archangel Michael says, "Lift up your head. Do not fear what is falling apart, for what is collapsing is making room for the new blessing about to rise." My child, heaven is arranging a reversal so shocking that even those who stood with your betrayer will bow in silence when they see your vindication. What was stolen will return multiplied. What was delayed will come in sudden acceleration. And what was poisoned will be restored as pure living water. Do not be discouraged by how long this season has lasted. Delay is not denial. God's timing is precise, and He has chosen this exact moment to bring this word before your eyes. You are not late. You are right on time for your breakthrough. Michael says, "Do not close your eyes to this sign. Stay until the very end, for the fullness of the revelation is only given to those who endure." My child, heaven is arranging a reversal so shocking that even those who stood with your betrayer will bow in silence when they see your vindication. What was stolen will return multiplied. What was delayed will come in sudden acceleration. and what was poisoned will be restored as pure living water. Do not be discouraged by how long this season has lasted. Delay is not denial. God's timing is precise, and He has chosen this exact moment to bring this word before your eyes. You are not late. You are right on time for your breakthrough. Michael says, do not close your eyes to this sign. Stay until the very end, for the fullness of the revelation is only given to those who endure. My beloved, the Lord says to you now, the tears you shed in secret have been seen in heaven, and they were not wasted. Every night you lay awake asking why certain people turned against you without cause, every moment you wondered if perhaps you were the problem, those cries rose like incense before the throne of God. And today, He answers not with silence but with revelation. The snake in your family has been fully exposed. Their whispers did not reach higher than heaven's ears. Their laughter at your pain was not hidden from God's sight. Archangel Michael stood by silently for a season, watching the betrayer move freely, but only because heaven was waiting for the perfect moment to bring judgment. That moment has now arrived. The betrayer's mask has slipped, and the fire of heaven will consume every false covering they once wore. You will see with your own eyes that the God who called you will never allow a serpent to rule over you. Do not underestimate the weight of what is happening, my child. This exposure is not a small event, it is a turning point in your destiny. The very foundation of your life is shifting. For years, you prayed for breakthrough, for open doors, for clarity in your path. You wondered why opportunities seemed to vanish, why relationships soured unexpectedly, why you often felt blocked when you were on the edge of blessing. Today, heaven answers, because someone you trusted was planting poison in the soil of your life. They wanted your garden to wither while theirs flourished. But now, Archangel Michael says the poison has been burned away, and the soil of your destiny is fertile again. Prepare yourself, because new opportunities will suddenly appear where before there was only dryness. The very ground beneath your feet is being renewed by the breath of God. Child, you must also understand that when the snake is revealed, it can shake your heart. It may hurt to discover who stood against you. It may wound you to know the one you embraced carried daggers in their spirit. But the Lord says, do not grieve as one who is broken. Rejoice as one who is being delivered. This truth does not come to destroy you but to free you. It is better to know the serpent and crush its head than to live blind while it coils tighter around you. Heaven has given you sight today. Michael's hand has ripped away the disguise. And now, nothing can bind you the way it once did. Do not cling to the betrayer when God has revealed their nature. Release them to divine justice. Step into the new chapter with your heart fixed on heaven's promises. My beloved, listen carefully, because after exposure comes confirmation. In the days ahead, you will begin to notice unusual signs, moments so precise that you will know it is not coincidence. A forgotten memory may suddenly return, reminding you of a strange behavior you once ignored. A conversation may reach your ears that confirms what heaven already showed you. Even in prayer, their name may rise unshaken in your spirit, pressing upon you until you cannot deny the truth. These confirmations will come as mercy, so that you do not question yourself or doubt the voice of heaven. When these signs appear, do not fear. Instead, lift your hands and thank the Lord, for His love for you is greater than the schemes of the enemy. And know this, after the signs, blessings will begin to pour. It will not be a trickle, it will be a flood. My child, the heavens are speaking clearly. When God allows a snake to be exposed, it is never without purpose. Exposure is the signal that a shift is taking place, that a chapter is ending and a new one is beginning. The same person who secretly worked to block your blessings has now become the very reason you will rise higher than ever before. For the Lord has taken their schemes and turned them into fuel for your destiny. Do not think their betrayal has left you weaker, it has refined you, sharpened you, and drawn you closer to the heart of God. Every delay they caused, every lie they spoke, every shadow they cast will now be reversed into multiplied blessings. Where they sowed loss, heaven will plant increase. Where they sowed shame, heaven will dress you in honor. And where they sowed pain, heaven will pour joy so abundant that even your enemies will witness it with silence on their lips. Do not be surprised, beloved, when you begin to feel the weight on your spirit lifting. You will notice the change in small but powerful ways. Conversations that once drained you will no longer reach you. The heaviness that lingered in your home will suddenly break. Dreams that once felt blocked will open up with clarity and direction. This is because the serpent's influence is being cut away. You are stepping into a season where what was hidden will no longer bind you. Archangel Michael has swung his sword, and invisible chains are falling even now as you listen. The betrayal you endured was not wasted, it is being transformed into testimony. Soon, the very story of your pain will become the very reason others believe in the miracles of God. My child, I must tell you this, sometimes the greatest danger does not come from strangers but from those closest to your heart. That is why this revelation feels heavy. But heaven says, do not fear, and do not grieve. For the exposure is not meant to leave you broken but to make you whole. God could have left you in ignorance, but He loves you too much to let you walk blind. The snake is now powerless because the truth is light, and light always destroys darkness. Remember, even Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, but when the story was complete, Joseph was elevated to a throne, and the same brothers who betrayed him had to bow before him. This is your path too, my beloved. The betrayal you faced will be the very testimony that crowns you with honor. Those who mocked you will see the hand of God raise you, and they will have no choice but to acknowledge the blessing upon your life. My child, I must tell you this, sometimes the greatest danger does not come from strangers but from those closest to your heart. That is why this revelation feels heavy. But heaven says, do not fear, and do not grieve. For the exposure is not meant to leave you broken but to make you whole. God could have left you in ignorance, but He loves you too much to let you walk blind. The snake is now powerless because the truth is light, and light always destroys darkness. Remember, even Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, but when the story was complete, Joseph was elevated to a throne, and the same brothers who betrayed him had to bow before him. This is your path too, my beloved. The betrayal you faced will be the very testimony that crowns you with honor. Those who mocked you will see the hand of God raise you, and they will have no choice but to acknowledge the blessing upon your life. And hear this carefully, do not let bitterness take root in your soul. Bitterness is the final weapon of the serpent, even after it is exposed. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Release them into the hands of heaven, for the justice of God is more precise than your own. The moment you release, heaven will release blessings. The moment you let go of vengeance, Michael will move swifter on your behalf. The betrayer has already sealed their fate by their own actions. You need not worry about what will become of them. Instead, fix your eyes on the miracles that are about to unfold. Because after the serpent is crushed, the garden of your life will bloom again with fruit sweeter than you have ever tasted. My child, the Lord wants you to understand something deeper. Every betrayal in your life was a test, and every test is about to produce a testimony. The snake that moved in secret thought their whispers were powerful enough to block your path, but heaven has always been ahead of their schemes. Even when you felt abandoned, even when doors slammed shut in your face, God was working behind the curtain, waiting for this perfect moment to bring everything into the light. Nothing was wasted, not your pain, not your tears, not even the silence when you felt heaven was far. For in the silence, God was sharpening his sword. In the waiting, Michael was preparing the revelation. And now, the silence has ended. The snake has been exposed, and your season of clarity has arrived. The betrayal was never greater than the blessing waiting on the other side. Beloved, notice how divine timing works. If the snake had been revealed too early, you might not have believed it. You might have defended them, clung to them, even resisted the truth. But now, heaven has arranged the exact season when your heart is ready to see clearly. What once was confusing will suddenly make sense. The strange setbacks, the mysterious blockages, the conversations that didn't sit right with your spirit, all of them will line up in a way that confirms the truth. God always brings exposure when it can no longer be denied. This is why Michael cries urgently now, do not turn away. Do not ignore this moment. For once the mask is gone, the serpent's hold is finished forever. The one who smiled in your face while cutting behind your back has already been marked by heaven. Their power is broken, and your path is opening. My child, know this, when heaven exposes, heaven also elevates. You are not stepping into an ordinary season, you are stepping into a divine reversal. The tables are turning swiftly. Where once you felt small, you will stand tall. Where once you were silenced, your voice will carry authority. The very ones who doubted you will be forced to see the hand of God over your life. Do not worry about proving yourself to anyone. The exposure itself will prove the truth. Heaven's justice is its own vindication. You are stepping into a time when your very presence will silence the lies. God says, "Be still, and let me fight for you." Michael's sword has already struck, and now you will see the fruit of what was promised. But child, take heed, the enemy will still try to whisper fear into your heart. They will tell you that you are not strong enough, that you will not recover, that the betrayal has left you too broken to rise. Do not listen. Those are the last lies of a defeated serpent. You are not broken, you are being rebuilt. You are not defeated, you are being positioned. And you are not alone, heaven walks with you. Even as you hear these words, the Spirit is stirring inside you, confirming that this is not imagination, it is revelation. The snake is gone, the mask is lifted, and the chains are shattered. You are free, and the glory that is coming will make you forget the sting of this pain. My child, the Spirit of God wants you to know that when betrayal enters, it often tries to leave a scar upon the soul, a wound that whispers, you cannot trust again, you cannot love again, you cannot hope again. But this is the greatest lie of the serpent. For the one who betrayed you is not greater than the one who called you. They may have wounded your heart, but they did not touch your destiny. They may have stolen moments from your journey, but they did not erase your name from heaven's book. In fact, their betrayal has only accelerated your story, because it forced you into the arms of the Lord in ways comfort never could. Child, every pain you felt was recorded, and every pain is now being exchanged for purpose. The Lord says, I will heal what was broken, and I will restore what was lost. You will not leave this season carrying scars, you will leave carrying crowns. Beloved, do not be surprised when the betrayer begins to stumble before your eyes. For the laws of heaven are unshakable, what a person sows, they will also reap. The one who sowed deceit will harvest exposure. The one who sowed shame will harvest disgrace. But you, who sowed tears in the dark, will harvest joy in the morning. This is not vengeance, it is justice. The same justice that raised Joseph from the prison, the same justice that seated David on the throne, the same justice that resurrected Jesus from the tomb. That same justice is now moving in your favor. Do not lower yourself to bitterness. Do not entangle yourself in the ruin of the serpent. Stand still and watch, for Michael's sword is swift, and the Lord's hand is mighty. Soon you will see the betrayer trapped in their own snare, and you will know that heaven has fought for you. Beloved, do not be surprised when the betrayer begins to stumble before your eyes. For the laws of heaven are unshakable, what a person sows, they will also reap. The one who sowed deceit will harvest exposure. The one who sowed shame will harvest disgrace. But you, who sowed tears in the dark, will harvest joy in the morning. This is not vengeance, it is justice. The same justice that raised Joseph from the prison, the same justice that seated David on the throne, the same justice that resurrected Jesus from the tomb. That same justice is now moving in your favor. Do not lower yourself to bitterness. Do not entangle yourself in the ruin of the serpent. Stand still and watch, for Michael's sword is swift, and the Lord's hand is mighty. Soon you will see the betrayer trapped in their own snare, and you will know that heaven has fought for you. My child, what comes after this exposure is not just healing but transformation. Heaven does not simply restore to the same level, it multiplies. The years the serpent thought were stolen will return to you in double. The opportunities they blocked will reopen wider than before. Even the relationships they tried to poison will be replaced with connections so divine, you will marvel at how quickly your circle shifts. This is why the Lord urges you, do not hold on to what is falling away. When the serpent is cut off, the branch it clung to may wither, but the tree will bloom again with greater fruit. Trust that what you lose in this season is nothing compared to what you are about to gain. For every Judas removed, a Joseph is raised, for every Delilah silenced, a destiny is restored. You are stepping into the season where heaven's exchange will leave you astonished. Beloved, prepare yourself, because the signs will come swiftly. One day you will wake up and sense a shift in your spirit. A heaviness that you carried for years will be gone, and in its place will be peace that cannot be shaken. Then you will begin to notice small miracles, delayed answers suddenly coming forth, unexpected opportunities opening, financial blessings flowing, relationships mending. These are not random. They are heaven's confirmation that the serpent's hold is finished. Archangel Michael has cleared the path, and now the blessings meant for you are racing toward you without resistance. Lift your eyes and expect, for God has already decreed it. The season of betrayal is closing, and the season of abundance has begun. My child, you must understand that exposure is only the first step of your deliverance. Heaven is not merely revealing the serpent so you can see them, it is removing their influence so you can rise. The betrayer once thought they had control over the narrative of your life, weaving lies behind the scenes, bending others' ears against you, trying to paint your light as darkness. But now their voice has lost its power. Where once their words carried weight, now they will fall empty. Where once their schemes seemed strong, now they will collapse like dust. For no word spoken against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rose in judgment shall be silenced. This is not my promise, it is the eternal promise of God. And Archangel Michael has come to enforce it with fire. The very lies that once shaped your struggles will now become the foundation of your testimony. People will look at you and say, "Surely the hand of the Lord is with them." Beloved, take comfort in knowing that every betrayal carries a hidden gift, clarity. For when God reveals who the snake is, He also reveals who your true allies are. Pay close attention in this season, because the same exposure that shows you the serpent will also highlight those who truly love you, those who stand by you without pretense, those who pray for you in secret rather than plot against you in silence. Heaven is refining your circle, not to make it smaller but to make it pure. The Lord is saying, I will surround you with those whose hearts are aligned with your destiny. You do not need to fear being alone, because the right people will enter your life once the serpent is removed. God is never late in sending replacements, and when He does, they will lift you higher than the betrayer ever could. My beloved, I see in the Spirit that the betrayer's downfall will not come quietly. Their exposure will echo, and their actions will testify against them in ways that cannot be denied. But here is the secret, you will not have to lift a finger. You will not need to defend yourself. You will not need to explain your side. The truth will rise on its own, shining so bright that even those who doubted you will be forced to admit they were wrong. And when this happens, do not boast. Do not gloat. Instead, lift your heart in worship, for it is God who fights for you. He alone deserves the glory. The moment you release the need to be right, heaven will release even greater blessings upon your life. Child, this is not just justice, it is promotion. The Lord is preparing to lift you into a position where your voice, your gifts, and your calling will carry more weight than ever before. And beloved, here is what you must prepare for. The flood of blessings that will follow this revelation will come suddenly, like rain after a long drought. At first, you will question it, wondering if it is real. Opportunities may appear from unexpected places. Finances may flow from sources you never considered. Peace will settle into your home like sunlight after a storm. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is restoration. Heaven is repaying you for every tear, every delay, every wound. The snake thought their bite would end you, but their bite only unlocked heaven's release. Archangel Michael has declared that the curse is broken, and the blessing has begun. Stand firm, my child, because the next season of your life will not look like the last. Where there was pain, there will be laughter. Where there was loss, there will be abundance. And where there was betrayal, there will be vindication so complete it will silence even your greatest critics. My beloved, now that the snake has been unmasked, you must prepare your heart for the shift that is coming. Exposure is never the end, it is the doorway. God did not bring this truth to your eyes only to leave you standing in shock. He brought it so that you could step boldly into the next season of your life with clarity and power. For years, your spirit carried weight you could not explain. Every time you tried to move forward, something seemed to pull you back. You prayed, you fasted, you believed, and still you felt unseen delays. But now heaven confirms, those delays were not because you were weak in faith, but because someone close to you was secretly working as an agent of resistance. Their jealousy, their whispers, their false prayers, they were blocking what heaven wanted to release. But that blockade is gone. The serpent is cut off, and now, like a river released from a dam, your blessings will flow freely without hindrance. My beloved, now that the snake has been unmasked, you must prepare your heart for the shift that is coming. Exposure is never the end, it is the doorway. God did not bring this truth to your eyes only to leave you standing in shock. He brought it so that you could step boldly into the next season of your life with clarity and power. For years, your spirit carried weight you could not explain. Every time you tried to move forward, something seemed to pull you back. You prayed, you fasted, you believed, and still you felt unseen delays. But now heaven confirms, those delays were not because you were weak in faith, but because someone close to you was secretly working as an agent of resistance. Their jealousy, their whispers, their false prayers, they were blocking what heaven wanted to release. But that blockade is gone. The serpent is cut off, and now, like a river released from a dam, your blessings will flow freely without hindrance. Beloved, the Lord says, do not mourn the loss of what is being removed. At first, it may feel heavy, because betrayal always leaves a sting. You may question yourself, wondering if you missed the signs earlier, wondering how you could have trusted them, wondering why God allowed it. But heaven assures you, nothing happened outside of divine knowledge. God allowed you to see their smile and feel their dagger only for a season, because that experience has birthed wisdom in you. It has sharpened your discernment. It has taught you how to see beyond appearances, how to test the fruit of people's lives rather than just their words. This wisdom will protect you in the future, ensuring that no serpent will ever coil so closely again. You are not weaker for this betrayal, you are stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the destiny ahead. My child, the betrayer thought their schemes would end you, but instead they have propelled you forward. Every time they spoke against you, it only increased heaven's urgency to bless you. Every time they plotted in secret, it only added weight to the judgment now falling on them. And every time they rejoiced at your pain, it only magnified the joy that is now rushing toward you. Soon, you will see the evidence with your own eyes. Opportunities you once thought were gone will reappear. People who ignored you will suddenly seek you out. Even resources you thought were lost will find their way back into your hands. This is heaven's repayment plan. This is divine reversal. God is turning the curse into blessing, the loss into gain, the betrayal into breakthrough. And beloved, remember this truth: after every storm, the air becomes clearer, and after every fire, the soil becomes richer. The betrayal you endured was the storm, but now your spirit will breathe freely. It was the fire, but now your soul will produce fruit sweeter than before. Do not look back wishing it had not happened. Instead, look forward knowing it was the very key that unlocked this moment. Michael's sword has not only exposed the serpent but has also cleared the path for your destiny. Walk boldly, for nothing can stand against you now. The one who tried to stop you has already fallen, and the one who lifts you cannot be resisted. This is your moment of divine acceleration. My child, you may not fully grasp it yet, but this exposure marks the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. Every chapter of betrayal eventually closes, and in its place comes a chapter of restoration. You see, the serpent in your family thought their lies would last forever, but truth is eternal. Lies are like shadows, they exist only as long as there is something blocking the light. But once the sun rises, the shadows vanish. Heaven says, the sun has risen over your life. The shadows of confusion, manipulation, and jealousy are burning away even now. The snake season of hiding is over, and because of this, you will finally understand why the struggles of your past carried such strange weight. What once felt random will suddenly make sense. And in that moment, you will know beyond all doubt that God never abandoned you. He was simply waiting for the perfect time to uncover the serpent and release your freedom. Beloved, the Lord also whispers this: do not waste energy trying to convince others of what has been revealed to you. Some will not see it at first. Some may even continue to defend the betrayer because they cannot believe the truth. Do not let this discourage you. The same way Joseph's brothers could not see the purpose in their actions until years later, those around you may not immediately recognize the justice being carried out. But in time, all will be made clear. The betrayer cannot hide forever, and when their actions begin to collapse upon them, even the blind will see. Your job is not to argue. Your job is not to prove. Your job is to stand firm, trust in heaven's judgment, and focus your heart on the blessings that are being released. For your story is not about their betrayal, it is about your rising. My beloved, hear this carefully. The snake did not simply envy you for what you have now, they envied you for what you are about to become. They sensed, even before you did, the magnitude of your destiny. That is why they worked so hard to delay you, to plant seeds of doubt in.